Hello, and welcome to this 2020 IT Professionals Conference presentation on UW-Madison's technologies, projects, and skill sets that are helping to transition us to the public cloud. This presentation will begin with a short introduction, followed by a status update on the various public cloud providers that the university is using, a review of some interesting cloud projects that have been occurring on our campus, and then ways to align your skill set to try to take advantage of some of these cloud projects. My name's Joe Johnson. I'm the Director of Cloud Strategy for UW-Madison, and I've been here for a little over 2 years. I've been leading the introduction of public cloud services in large organizations for about the last 6 years, and I work along with the public cloud team and others on campus to try to deliver cloud projects for teaching, learning, research, and administrative uses. UW-Madison has access to all three of the large public cloud providers: Amazon Web Services, or AWS, Microsoft Azure, and the Google Cloud Platform, or GCP. Before the university can purchase services from these public cloud providers, we have to have procurement terms and conditions in place that specify under what conditions we can purchase services and how we will pay for those services once we've bought them. I'm happy to say that we have the terms and conditions in place for all three of the public cloud providers. Once we're able to procure services from the public cloud providers, the next thing we need to do is understand what sort of technical and security controls need to be in place for us to be able to leverage the services offered by these vendors. That process is referred to as a Cybersecurity Risk Management Framework assessment. That assessment looks at the various controls that are available from the public cloud providers and how we might use them in order to leverage the services they make available. This risk management framework process is complete for Amazon Web Services and is scheduled to begin in July 2020 for Azure and Google Cloud Platform. After the risk management framework is completed, cloud services that will store HIPAA or PHI data have to undergo an additional requirement of having a business associate agreement in place between the University of Wisconsin and the public cloud provider. The business associate agreement, or BAA, is negotiated separately from the procurement terms and conditions. And we are currently negotiating that document for Amazon Web Services. We have a backlog item to begin that process for Microsoft Azure in July 2020. And we have already completed the BAA for Google Cloud Platform. Ideally, we would like to see green checkboxes for each of the three public cloud platforms for each of the three areas that are shown here. By the end of this summer or early fall, we hope that'll be the case, and that would mean you could largely put any workload in any of the environments based on your requirements and what you are trying to achieve with that particular service. Note that just because a business associate agreement is in place, it does not necessarily mean that any and all HIPAA and PHI data can go into a particular cloud environment. We have to take a look at each individual service that's used to host that data to make a secure determination as to whether it's appropriate for use in that environment or not. So of the three public clouds that we have available on our campus, I thought it might be interesting to show you how those different public clouds are being used across campus. If you add up all the user accounts we have in public clouds, you would find that about 83% of those are using Amazon Web Services, with 16% using Microsoft Azure and a smaller amount using Google Cloud Platform. This is largely probably due to the fact that Amazon is our more mature offering on our campus, with Azure coming in a close second, but Google Cloud Platform is very new to us. We didn't have the terms and conditions in place to consume it until about 3 or 4 months ago, so it's not widely adopted yet. In case you're curious, as a comparison, in the overall public cloud market, the numbers kind of break down like this. So you can see that I would expect our consumption of these three public clouds to probably start to look a little bit more like the overall market share that we see here over time. And notice that these three players together make up a substantial part, 91% of the overall public cloud market, with all the other players combined only making up about 9% of the overall public cloud expenditures. Looking at the data another way, how much are we spending with each of the three public clouds? I thought that might be interesting for those who are attending this seminar today. So this is how that breaks down. About 65% of our total spend on public cloud resources is currently going to Amazon, and the rest is spread amongst the other two providers. Notice that even though Google is a small portion of the number of overall accounts, it has a fairly substantial amount of spend to this point. And that's largely because Google has been very generous with research grants to large research labs on campus. And so the expenditures have been quite high, even though the number of customers is fairly low. And speaking of that, the vendor subsidies, money we receive from the public clouds to use their services in the form of grants or credits, you can see that Microsoft Azure and Google have offered a substantial amount of subsidies to those who want to consume the resources. And Amazon to date has been a little bit less generous in that area. But I think we will see this starting to change over time as well, because there's clearly a great deal of competition between these three providers to get the business of our researchers, our teaching and learning faculty and staff, and then the administrative workloads as well. Now that we know a little bit about the public cloud resources that are available on our campus, I thought it might be useful to review some of the public cloud projects that are occurring. Many of you may already be aware of the Super Bowl ad that aired in February featuring Scout, a patient at the Vet Med School. The public cloud team worked with the Vet Med School IT staff to leverage AWS resources to ensure that the Vet Med website would have sufficient capacity during the spike in access caused by this ad. The Facilities Planning and Management Office is leveraging cloud resources for the test and dev environments for their AssetWorks application. By leveraging the cloud, they can turn these environments on and off as needed and still be able to use production scale infrastructure. University Housing has moved a number of their applications to the Azure public cloud. These migrations have helped them reduce their data center footprint while also avoiding refresh costs for aging hardware. The UW's COVID-19 website is hosted in AWS. Doing so allowed us to quickly provide this critical information to a broad geographic audience in a fast, secure, and economical manner. Similarly, the UW-Wisc.edu landing page is also hosted in AWS. This provides visitors a performant website experience no matter where they are in the world. The public cloud is also home to the infrastructure built to host the UW's RStudio platform. Using the cloud for this environment made it possible to quickly stand up the R data analytics tools required to support both COVID and other research use cases. UW Health and the School of Medicine and Public Health are partnering on a public cloud research computing environment in Azure. The goal is to deliver HIPAA-ready infrastructure for use by SMPH and UW Health researchers. Research teams on campus are also leveraging machine learning and machine recognition services from the three public clouds to analyze pathology samples for cancer cells and other anomalies. One group on campus used the public cloud to run their application under several different size server environments to help decide what size of on-premise server hardware to purchase. The UW Law School is exploring public cloud as a possible location for file sharing. And finally, the CHTC and IceCube projects have also been exploring the use of the three public clouds as part of their own research activities. Now that you've seen some of the exciting cloud projects that are occurring on campus, I thought I would take a minute and talk about some of the things you could do to build your own skill set for alignment with these types of activities. There's three areas we'll talk about. One is collaboration, the second is training, and finally experimentation. Seeking out opportunities for collaboration with others is one of the best ways to start building your own cloud skill set. One way to do that is to work with the Do-It Cloud team. You can contact the Do-It Cloud team in a number of ways. You can email them at the email address shown here, or you can drop in for their weekly office hours that can be found at this URL. The office hours give you an opportunity to ask questions or simply just listen in on what others are doing with cloud across campus. If you're really interested in some of the details of the activities happening around cloud on campus, you may want to consider joining one of two bi-weekly strategic or tactical meetings that occur with the cloud team and others from across campus. Simply email the email address here and ask to be added to the meetings if you have interest in getting into that level of detail. Finally, we also have regular vendor calls with both Amazon, Azure, and Google to talk in general about what our needs are from those vendors for campus resources. If you're interested in joining any of those vendor calls, simply send an email to the address here and we can add you to those as well. Next, you can reach out to the Cyber Research Infrastructure team. The members of that team are shown here. Jan Cheatham is the leader of that part of the organization, and she works within the CTO's office in Do It. Much like the Do It Cloud team, these individuals can also help you with your onboarding process with cloud, but they work specifically with research teams and their special requirements for the types of work that they're trying to do. If you're a researcher or work with researchers, you may want to reach out to this team specifically for help and collaboration with cloud projects. Finally, there are Tiger teams forming on campus to do specific cloud-based activities. For example, you might have a team that's forming to move one or more applications from on-premise to the public cloud. If you're interested in joining one of those teams and learning more about what that process looks like, you can again reach out to the Do It Cloud team using the email address shown here, and they will help you join one of those teams and start expanding your own knowledge of cloud. Another way to start building your skill set around cloud is with training. One resource for training that's available to all UW employees is LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn Learning has a wide breadth of training materials available on subjects ranging from management to personnel to finance, but specifically they have some courses around cloud and cloud computing as well. So look for these types of courses: Cloud Foundations, courses related to the Amazon Cloud Practitioner credential, the Microsoft Azure Fundamentals, or the Google Cloud Platform Essentials training as possibilities for things that can help you build your initial skill set with cloud using LinkedIn Learning. Another resource for cloud training is from the vendors themselves. Both AWS, Microsoft, and Google offer training for free on their websites under these headings that are shown here. If you look for the learning libraries, the learning path, or the free hands-on training in any of these environments, you'll find a wealth of resources that can help you start to understand some of the basics around cloud computing. That, in conjunction with joining a Tiger team, can help you fill in a lot of the gaps as far as your skill set with regard to cloud and how we're using it at UW-Madison. Finally, the best way to actually start learning about cloud capabilities is to try some of them out. So we would encourage you to experiment with cloud and see what types of things might be useful for your particular use cases. One way to do that is to request a cloud account from the Do It Cloud team. Once your account is created, the cloud team can help you get some initial startup assistance, helping you understand what's available to you and how to use it. And they can also help you develop templates or consume existing templates to build some of the more common cloud capabilities that are used across campus. Just a word about experimentation. Be careful with the use of free trial accounts from the public cloud providers. All of them have them available. Those trial accounts, however, are not covered under UW contracts, terms, and conditions for employee use for campus projects. So if you want to experiment with free trial accounts, do so using a personal credit card, not a P card, and use an email address other than your wis.edu email address to associate with those trial accounts. Anything else, use of a P card or use of a wis.edu email to associate with a trial account, can be problematic. Finally, Tiger Teams appears again, because one of the best ways to be able to learn how to do some things from an experimentation point of view is to work with others who are doing similar things. So we are looking at forming Tiger Teams who are just going to do things that are experimental in nature and not looking to operationalize anything. So again, reach out to the public cloud team, ask to be put on the backlog for Tiger Team placement, and we will connect you with resources that can help you with that experimentation. In conclusion, we took some time to talk about the three major public cloud providers that are available on our campus and which types of services are currently available and on the roadmap for those providers. Next, we spent some time talking about some of the interesting cloud projects that are occurring on campus. Finally, we talked about some of the ways that you can start to build your own cloud skill set through collaboration, training, and experimentation. Out of all this, the most important thing to remember is that an email sent to the Do It Cloud Services team at the email address shown here is the best way to start a conversation about cloud and its use at UW-Madison. Thank you.